How's it going, everyone? It is Only here. Welcome back to another video as always. So with Detroit Become Human recently getting a release date for May 25th, which to me is very exciting. I can't wait to play that game, and specifically that game's coming out before E3, which is always a good thing, so we don't have to see those two games again, God of War and Detroit. But I figured with this news that for the rest of the games that are coming out this year that we know that are going to be Sony PlayStation exclusives, that I predict their release dates and when they're going to be announced for the final time. I kind of did this last year and you guys seem to like it, and it was also just really fun to make, so I figured I'd do this. I was actually planning to do this with Detroit included, but it got a release date before I even got around to making this video, which is kind of funny, but again, this is just another reason why I figured I'd make the video now. You know, with that being said, we already have God of War and Detroit Become Human with release dates. Those are like 2 out of the 5 big PlayStation exclusives this year, so there's not that many left. There's about 3 that I want to go over here, but nonetheless, it should be pretty exciting. I also want to note before anybody expects this game, I'm not going to predict Medieval because I have no clue when that game's coming out. We've only seen like, what, a logo and like maybe an animation. There's no telling if that game is coming out this year. I mean, I imagine it probably will since it's shown off at PSX, but you never know with Sony. But again, I'm not going to predict that because I pretty much have nothing to go by. So with Spider-Man, I definitely think Spider-Man is going to be the game we hear about next. And the reason being is because kind of like developers have been kind of talking about how they're ready to share information soon in terms of like the box art, in terms of like maybe collector's editions and stuff. And overall, they've been, you know, on Twitter showing that they're doing their wide playtest and everything. So I definitely think we'll hear about them first. And I'm expecting that they're going to probably announce the release date before E3, probably within the next couple weeks here, maybe at the earliest, you know, maybe April or possibly earliest late March. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think it's going to come out late June/early July. You know, Sean Layden last year, he said that every single game that was at their press conference that got a 2018 release window is going to come out within the first half, and Spider-Man got that, and we obviously know that Detroit's coming out May 25th, so really that only includes June if they don't want to clutter their games with like Detroit and stuff. So it just makes sense that since, you know, Spider-Man's always kind of been seen by many as a summer title especially, and I just think it will be late June, possibly early July, but that's if it's going to be delayed. I think it's pretty safe to say it's going to come out in late June. Yeah, Insomniac seems pretty confident. So the game that interests me the most, obviously, is Dreams, because I loved Meaty Molecule's Little Planet. Didn't really like Tearaway that much, but Little Planet has a special place in my heart. Now, Dreams is a tricky one, and I think Dreams and Days Gone both are tricky ones, but I'm going to try to go over here what I'm thinking. So we obviously know that Dreams is going to be getting a beta before it actually releases worldwide or, you know, to everybody, so with that in mind, I do think that the beta is probably going to be summertime. I just think that's the best for the game. You know, it just kind of makes sense. You know, after Spider-Man or around that time, they're probably going to just drop the beta in like July or something. And I was kind of contemplating because I feel like Dreams can go either way. It can either release in September or it can release in December, but I'm just going to say September because that's when Little Planet 2 was originally supposed to come out. And I just feel like that's a month where PlayStation will probably just drop it down there. It could be like August, but I'm going to say September probably because it's still a safe month. Nothing really comes out that month, you know, at all. So I definitely think that Dreams will probably be, you know, at the end of summer. You know, they might say summer here soon, but I just definitely think that if it does get a release date, maybe at E3 it possibly could. But I definitely think we're going to be hearing about the beta first, possibly at E3, and that's going to drop in July, followed by a date in September. And if it doesn't come out in September, this is kind of like just like a second prediction, then it'll probably come out in December because it's going to be like that Last Guardian kind of thing where it's going to come out near Christmas pretty much, and it just seems like that kind of game. A lot of people are saying possibly 2019 with that game, but I don't know. It feels like the one that's the most, you know, ambiguous. Like we don't really know what they're going to do here, so I'm just going to say September just to be on the safe side, and I don't think that they're going to have like a beta and just wait 6 months before the actual launch of the game, and it's been a long time that they've been developing, so they better have this ready soon. So I'm going to say September, giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I just hope that's when it comes out, because at the dead month, and of course you don't want dead months, and it just seems like a logical time to release it, right? So I'm going to stick with September. So the final game that I want to predict here is Days Gone. Now, Days Gone's also with Dreams, you know, very annoying. I think Detroit, Spider-Man, and God of War were so easy to pin down, but it was just Days Gone and Dreams to me that were really annoying. You know, Dreams and Days Gone were the two that I feel like they can go either way. And with Days Gone, I think that they're probably going to do a Last Guardian situation where they're going to announce the release date at E3, and it's going to be like the fall of that later that year. Now, of course, this was back when they gave dates way too early, but I still think it's probably safe, possibly. You know, we recently heard from Shuhei back at PSX that they're kind of at the phase where the game was playable, you know, from start to finish, kind of like what God of War was, but they need to iron out the bugs. Now, whether they do that or not, we're definitely going to see a showing at E3 no matter what. They got to give us something. A date can go either way. You know, a lot of people are probably going to be expecting a date, but guys, personally, I wouldn't expect a date because, you know, it's possible that this can get a release date, you know, in August or something like that for later this year, because that seems like the trend that they've been doing, just announcing it on Twitter. So it's possible it does that, but I'm going to say that they probably should get a date out and they might just be a little bit early with this one in particular because it just makes sense to. And I feel like Sony will just, they can't go another conference without just finalizing this game about when it's coming out. People will just be pissed off unless they give just a season. I'm just going to go with October to December around there. And if I had to pinpoint it exactly, I'm going to say December. Now, I'm going to say December because, Red Dead's coming out in October. I feel like it'd be very stupid to do anything near that month. Last Guardian did the similar path where it was coming out in October, but then it got delayed. So, thinking about it, actually, I don't think it will get a release date at E3 if it's going to come out in December. That just never really seems to happen. So, actually, I'm just going to say that it's not going to get a release date at E3 and that it's going to get eventually released in December. And we're probably going to hear about a date late summer or something like that, I definitely think that seems more fitting. Just given the game's schedule, that just seems the most fitting. And a lot of people are probably going to be pissed off about that. But Days Gone is one of those games where I feel like out of all these games, it's going to be like teetering 2018, 2019 because this game's obviously had some trouble development, or at least it's taken a while. It's Sony Ben's most ambitious game, so actually their first, console game as well. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking for all three of these exclusives. Make sure to let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I always love doing these. Usually I'm pretty wrong about this stuff. I predicted God of War would come out in February, just like Horizon did this year, but obviously that seemed to be like 2 months off at that point. And just overall, I always seem to be wrong on these kind of things, but that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So it's always cool to look back at these videos, see what I was thinking, and see if I'm correct. So yeah, make sure to leave your predictions down in the comments down below. I want to see what month you guys are probably hitting for these games. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. And yeah, with that being said, I want to thank you a lot for watching through this whole entire video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.